A little over 5 months ago, I had the most amazing baby boy. His name is Isaac. He's a blessing. I'm obsessed with him, of course. But getting here wasn't all peachy keen. A lot of things happened while I was pregnant that I wasn't a huge fan of. Didn't want to take some time to talk about them, just to kind of get it out of my system. This far out, being pregnant really seemed like a 9-month out-of-body experience, even though it is explicitly the opposite. However, while I was still pregnant, I wrote some of these things down just to remind myself what I would be getting into when we got pregnant again. Disclaimer, I am not currently pregnant. So without further ado, my thoughts on pregnancy. When you're pregnant, the entire world thinks it's their business. They want everything to do with any pregnant woman they see in public. Strangers approach you, they talk to you. When you see old friends and you see family, a lot of them stop asking you how you are and start asking you how you're feeling. And yes, they use that tone of voice. They don't actually care that much, at least in my experience. What they really want is for you to say good so they can say, oh, well, if you need any help, just call me. You know, I can help out. You might be able to hear him playing in his little jumperoo right over there. Later in the pregnancy, around 7.5 months or so, I started just telling the truth. Well, my back hurts because I'm carrying around a bowling ball inside my uterus. I'm having the worst heartburn I've had in my life. I can't sleep and none of my shoes fit because my feet have swollen. They didn't generally have a response to that though. But in general, what I'm saying is that instead of being treated like I was my own person, I was being treated like I was Isaac's mom before he was ever even born. I was eavesdropping on a conversation between my husband and one of his family members who had the audacity to tell him that he would no longer be my number one. Meaning that when Isaac was born, he would be the most important person to me and Chase would move down to number 2. Excuse me? 1, you do not understand the inner workings of my marriage. And 2, how dare you? Honestly, people think they can get away with saying anything when you're pregnant. It is not enough to just ask me for permission to touch my stomach. I have to say yes. So good, you're making one step. You're actually asking permission, which is very important. But what's equally as important is me saying yes. It's not enough to just say, hey, can I touch your stomach? And then go for it. It's not enough. Don't do it. I was going insane trying to get people to understand bodily autonomy. This is my body still. Don't touch me. Another thing people thought was appropriate, asking me how I plan to give birth. I understand you're trying to come up with a conversation that has to do with my life right now, but think about what you're asking. We're talking about serious medical procedures, and the fact that you feel comfortable just asking anyone what their plan is, no matter how you give birth, it's an extreme medical procedure that's just no one else's business. On the other hand, if I bring it up, that's fine. Feel free to talk about things if I bring it up. However, don't then judge me for my decision. Yes, I decided to get an epidural. That was a personal decision. I don't judge people who don't get epidurals. I don't judge people who decide to have elective C-sections. That's not my business. That's their life and their child that they're giving birth to. It is nobody's place to judge them. The other question almost all pregnant women get at some point during their pregnancy, was it planned? Once again, let me say, think about what you're asking. I'm not gonna go deeper on that one. You got a brain, think about what you're asking. This next one is actually talked about a lot. However, I still hear it asked and I don't understand why society hasn't gotten on board yet. You cannot ask a woman if she's pregnant. I don't care if she's in the hospital, her legs up in the air about to push the baby out. Do not ask her if she's pregnant. Acceptable answers to this are, no, I just had a really big lunch. What? I didn't even notice. Oh my God, thank you for pointing that out. I don't know how I missed it. And for the tactful, there's always, yes, I am, but that's none of your business. Not only do strangers feel like they should have insight to your medical decisions, They're also going to offer you plenty of advice on how to get through your pregnancy. Oh, you're not supposed to eat sushi. That's not good for the baby. There are things that people don't know, but they heard on the internet, so they're just going to repeat what they heard because they think they should have an opinion. People acting like they know better than you because they've had fill-in-the-blank children. Oh, I knew it. I knew you were pregnant way before you announced it. Did you? Did you really? Oh, I just knew you were gonna have a boy because this and this. Almost every single old wives' tale pointed to me having a girl. Do you think I was upset when I found out I was having a little boy? Of course not. But that doesn't mean that you knew it. The only person that might know your baby's gender before you is the person giving you the ultrasound. They have training in this, so they might actually know because they're the ones that tell you. In our case, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law knew before us because we asked them to. Everyone else that knew the gender, no, you didn't. No. One of people's favorite things to say to pregnant women is, sleep while you can. However, what people fail to remember is there's this thing called pregnancy insomnia. And let me tell you, it doesn't help to hear people say, sleep while you can. What do you think I'm trying to do? Things that happen to my body that no one told me about. I had never had heartburn before in my entire life. But whenever I was pregnant with Isaac, anything and everything gave me heartburn. So much so that I had to get extra pillows to prop myself up so that I could even sleep. Congestion. Almost the entire 9 months, my nose was stopped up constantly. I'd wake up in the morning having chapped lips because I had to breathe through my mouth to sleep. It was gross. And no one told me about it. When I asked my doctor, she's like, oh yeah, that happens. Another thing is restless leg syndrome. I had also never heard about this. My legs bothered me so much, probably the last 3 months of my pregnancy. They had to be moving, they had to be propped up. I had to take care of them and think about them way more than anyone should be thinking about their legs. That is not something that I miss at all. I could not roll over in bed. We have a king-size bed and I still felt like a turtle when I tried to roll over. I didn't realize how easy it is to move your body when you don't have to think about it. Even putting on pants was a struggle at the end. Another thing that happens towards the end of pregnancy is you are out of breath. Unless you're in incredibly good shape, which I obviously am not, you cannot go from point A to point B without having to think about how much you need to breathe. Isaac said he wanted to come be in the video. Another thing that happened was I was thirsty all the time. Huh. Yeah. Now this one you've definitely heard. Something that goes along with drinking a bunch of water is peeing all of the time. If I had tried to track how many times I went to the bathroom in a day, I would have lost count. But staying hydrated is so important, so having to pee a lot is just the downside. Now this didn't happen until around week 30 or so, but whenever I got to that point, my ankles and hands swole up like balloons. Y'all, this was no joke. I could not wear a pair of shoes that I owned unless they were flip-flops, and it was the middle of winter. Mind you, it doesn't get that cold around here, but I still would have rather wear some shoes that covered my toes, especially when you consider the fact I couldn't reach them to give myself a pedicure. Another thing that happened while I was pregnant is I got these vivid dreams. Before I got pregnant, I almost never remembered my dreams, but while I was pregnant with Isaac, I could tell you every single thing that happened because it seemed so real to me. If I had a dream where I was mad at Chase, I would wake up mad at Chase because I thought it was real. And it got so hard towards the end to distinguish between what was real and what was a dream, and the hormones don't make it any better. Pregnancy naps are probably one of the best things that ever happened. Despite the fact that I could not sleep at night because of insomnia and heartburn, my naps are what fueled me like nothing else. Well, yes, it was hard to roll over in bed. I didn't really need to that much. I had this awesome thing called a snoogle. Y'all, get yourself one of these. Or if you have a friend that's pregnant and you don't know what to get them this pillow. It is amazing. It's a lifesaver. I cannot tell you how much agony this pillow saved me. That is something that makes me a little nervous for when we have number 2, because I'll have a toddler running around to take care of and I won't be able to get those awesome pregnancy naps. The last thing I wanted to talk about is something that people think is made up a lot of times, called pregnancy brain. Y'all, this is real. People make fun of it when a pregnant woman forgets what she's trying to say and, oh, so sweet, what a silly lady, she just forgot. I straight up forgot half my vocabulary. If I was having a conversation and Chase wasn't there to interpret basically what I was thinking, we were getting nowhere. It has to do with all the hormones that are running through your body when you're pregnant. There is nothing shameful about pregnancy brain. It means you're creating life. You guys are out there killing it. A day that you take a walk around the block might feel like you're running a marathon because you are building a human being. I do just want to say, take this with a grain of salt. Every single pregnancy is different. I know that doesn't mean you're not going to compare your pregnancy with someone else that you know, but you really shouldn't. You're doing everything you can to bring a precious child into this world, and that is kick-ass awesome. Okay, anyway, I think we're gonna end the video right there for today because Isaac's getting hungry. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up or leave a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Are you so happy you're a full little baby? Oh, boop, 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 boop.